All right, so you guys already know who I am, Dante Tabiance. So here on this platform all day, we talk about anything that deals with football, storylines, players, high school football, collegiate, XFL, USFL, CFL, and of course the elite of the league, the NFL. And so, the purpose of this channel is for anyone who wants to come on here. They want to vent, they want to talk about football, X and O's, scouting, scouts, coaches, players, any of that. And so I got my friend right now, Andre Dawkins. I met him back in February at the NFL Scouting Combine, and you coach. You said you coach collegiate football, the NIA. Is it NIA or NAI?
It's NAI.
NAI. Yeah, and so you was just pretty much telling me a little bit about that. It's pretty much like any players that's pretty much getting overlooked, they can pretty much join the NAI league, right?
Right, right. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we pretty much try to recruit, whoever, that's pretty much in the area. So, you know, if you still want to play and you still have the passion to put the pads on and just play as long as you want to play and still, go for your dream, then why not? Or you have a lot of great JUCOs out there, some of the greatest NFL players to ever come out, to ever be in the NFL, went through the JUCO, including Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. So, there's a lot of different routes to get to where you want to get. You just got to pick the route that's best for you.
Yeah, exactly. I still kind of regret that I didn't go there when they told me that I couldn't walk on Alabama. And then I was trying to try out for Stillman, because Stillman, that was a D2 school in Tuscaloosa, and I just decided not to do it. And I tried playing arena ball in Atlanta for this team called the Atlanta Sharks, but that's a long story. But yeah, I wish I'd actually did try it out, did the NAI, because like you just said, I mean, it could definitely give you a shot and get you filming, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. If you can ball, you can ball no matter where you playing at. If you can get that film and you can put it in the right hands, you can get a career out of it. So that's dope, bro. What I was meaning to ask you, what do you coach? Like, I know what you coach, but what's the like? Are you a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator?
No, I was the O line coach and assistant recruiting coordinator.
Oh, bet. Okay, that's what's up, man. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so we're going to first. I just wanted to talk Super Bowl predictions, but you brought up the Tua and Brian Flores situation as well. So I thought that was pretty dope. So let's say the Super Bowl predictions for last, and let tell me what's on your mind about the Brian Flores and Tua situation.
Yeah, just coming from a coach's standpoint, a lot of people don't understand that, you have some of the commentators that talk about where Brian Flores came from, the whole Bill Belichick tree. And just like when me and you were talking earlier, sometimes when you start a profession, you're sort of raised in it. So whoever is your teacher, whoever is your mentor, normally you might follow in their footsteps. And I can't say for sure that's what Brian Flores was doing, but the way that he was treating Tua was a little bit almost Bill Belichick type. Tom Brady's a unicorn, right? You can roast him, you can get on him, you can call him out of his name, and then he's just gonna take it and pretty much just go through him. But not everybody is like that, especially not the generation that we're in now. So for Brian, maybe trying to be a little bit too much Belichick and not enough of himself. And sometimes you can lose yourself when you're trying to chase somebody that's great. You know, focus on being great yourself, not necessarily on trying to be somebody that already is great. And I'm not trying to say that's what Brian Flores was doing, but from the outside looking in, I mean, Tua went through the whole Nick Saban program, and Nick Saban's one of the toughest coaches we've ever seen, especially in college football. And ironically, he was the Miami Dolphins coach too back in the day. So, uh, you know, I got a lot of respect for Brian Flores. I think he's going to do great. One of my picks that we're going to talk about here when it comes to the Super Bowl is the Vikings, and partly because of his defense and what he can do, what he's doing right now. DJ Turner coming out of Alabama, so it's not about Tua being sensitive; it's about Tua being himself and just wanting to be treated like everybody else, fairly and respected.
100%, bro. Yeah, I mean, like I was telling you earlier, man, I'm a little bit in the middle with that because I see where Tua's coming from. I mean, first off, I could probably be a little biased with this because I'm not a Tua fan. I don't like Tua. Like, I'm just gonna be 100. I think he's overrated. I don't think he's terrible, but I don't think he's good either. I think if it definitely wasn't for Mike McDaniel, he would be out of the league right now. I mean, and I mean, let's not forget too. I mean, let's acknowledge. I think Brian Flores. I don't think he was that bad of a coach either. And I'm not saying you said that, but sort of how the media is sort of low key is trying to put it. Brian Flores did a terrible job all around. I think it's more of. I think it's also too. It's 100% of what you're saying, and because I believe it too. Like he comes from the Bill Belichick tree. Saban and all them, and they come from the Bill Parcells tree. You know what I'm saying too? As what I'm correct, right? Yeah. So Bill Parcells, he's known for that. So I mean that's just how those coaches were for the most part back in those days. And like I told you earlier, not every coach can coach like that to every single player. Like you said, Tom Brady is a unicorn. Not every player, unfortunately, doesn't have like this psychopathic like mentality of being obsessed with being the greatest of all time. Not every player wants that, and not every player wants that in the NFL. Some guys just want to get their check and that's it. I mean, and so coaches has to understand that, especially when you're in the NFL. Because I mean you're talking to grown men, and not every player is going to want to deal with another grown man running in their face like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean I definitely agree with you. But I also think the Tua and the Brian Flores situation is something similar also to, and I just thought about this. It's similar to the Sean Payton, the Russell Wilson situation. Man, I never really even knew. I didn't even know Sean Payton was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I tripped out when I saw he was snapping off at Russell Wilson like on the side like that. I never seen anything like that. All the years I've like played football and watched football. I mean, doing it in practice is one thing. Doing it live on television is another. You know what I'm saying? Like that was crazy. Like I kind of low key lost respect for Sean Payton when he did that. And this is coming from a guy, like I told you earlier, bro. Like when I play football, and still now to this day, like I'm my worst critic, bro. Like I wanted to be coached really hard because one, I didn't play ball at a young age like most people did, and I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? And football, you can like correct me if you want to, but football, I always say football is very political, and I say that from experience because when I got into high school, bro, like I wanted to play, bro. I wanted to be great. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to go pro. I wanted to be a Hall of Famer. Like I said that to myself when I was 14 when I first started playing. So, but I never got a chance to really play in high school, because I faced a lot of like political situations, and so I never got the tape. You know what I'm saying? So, like me, I wanted to be coached hard. I wanted to coach. I don't care how he was going to talk to me. I wanted him to coach me really hard so I can be a better person. But not everybody is a better person, a better player. But not every player is like that. So, I mean, it just depends on the person, man. The person, especially nowadays. Like most players are not going to take that. I think most players today is not going to take that as much as most players would back in the day. Like I don't want to knock people today and say like the game has gotten softer or players has gotten softer. It's just a different era. I mean, so I hope Brian Flores gets another shot. I do, because I don't think he did a terrible job. He just did a terrible job coaching Tua. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, hopefully he does get a shot, man. I mean, but I think he kind of messed himself up. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did he file a lawsuit against the NFL for racial discrimination?
He did.
I mean,
yeah, no, he did file a lawsuit, and I think that's going to hurt him more than really even the Tua situation. But like some other commentators said, because he has a lawsuit and the Tua thing, so that just adds to the fire.
Yeah, bro. That's kind of like the Colin Kaepernick situation, man. I mean, bro, like he probably would have a shot to get back into the league if he ain't trying to compare the NFL scouting combine to slavery.
Right.
It's like, come on, bro. Like, and actually, he did still get a shot though, because they was trying to have him go to a tryout, like practice trial or something, and then he just didn't show up or something.
Yeah, he went to try. I think 3 teams showed up in Atlanta, but Colin, just like we talked about earlier, like the whole pistol formation is from Colin Kaepernick. Nevada, the head coach created that formation because he had this unicorn of an athlete, going back to that word again, that can do a lot. So, that's where the birth of the pistol came from. But going back to your Sean Payton quote, Man, Sean Payton is also from that Bill Parcells tree. He was the offensive coordinator for Bill Parcells when Bill was the Dallas Cowboys head coach. So Sean Payton went straight from the OC of the Dallas Cowboys to the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. So some people forget, like Sean a little tough. It was weird to see him like that, especially with somebody like Russell, because Russell's real laid back. That's his personality. But he's most definitely capable of it. So Sean Payton is Sean Payton's tough, and I got a lot of respect for him. But somebody like Tua would be really, really good in that system that Sean Payton likes to run. Tua is really just he's a point guard. That's exactly what Drew Brees was. But Drew Brees never had Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. But you just got to find your guys, give them the ball, give them a chance.
Bro, facts. Yeah, man. I know I said I'm not a fan of Tua. I think he's overrated. What do you think about Tua? I want to know your input on this.
I think anybody that makes it to that level has the talent to make it to that level. It really just goes back to decision making. It goes back to culture. It goes back to the organization. Like, are you doing everything you can to support this guy? And when Mike McDonald went to Miami, he did everything he could to support him. He led the league in yards last year. He has two of probably the fastest receivers that we've ever seen. They just added Odell Beckham. You got Raheem Mostert in the backfield. I'm not too big on their line. I think the Terran Armstead is still there. The veteran Arkansas Pine Bluff. Shout out to HBCU. But so they have everything they need around him. He did get paid. He did stay healthy last year. So it's just really it's really more on him. The infrastructure for him to succeed is there. Unfortunately, maybe not as much it was there with Brian Flores, but we can all go to D'Amico Ryans and the Houston Texans. Like, you can be a defensive minded head coach and pick that quarterback and just make sure that you put everything around him that you can to have him succeed. And in another quick story, CJ Stroud, when they were interviewing him, when they were going through the draft process, Bobby Slowick, who's the OC for Houston, who's probably going to be a head coach probably next year. I think he went to a lot of interviews this past year. But he had got on CJ pretty bad, and CJ shut down. So the story that I heard, him and D'Amico, the brass of the Houston Texans, they went back to Ohio State and they was trying to figure out, well, why did this guy shut down? Like, what's going on? And Ryan Day and company told him, like, well, this is a guy you don't get on him. Just got to uplift him, and he'll run through a brick wall for you. So D'Amico, Ryans and company took that back to Houston. They drafted him. They uplifted him. He wins Rookie of the Year, probably the best rookie quarterback year we've ever seen statistically. He barely even threw interceptions. So you have to understand your players. You can't coach everybody the same. Coaching is exactly like teaching. If you got 20, 25, 30 kids, none of them learn the same. None of them have the same home life. None of them have the same type of parents. So you have to figure out them and then learn how to uplift them. And some of them you can probably scream at and yell at, and they'll just be like, all right, I'm ready to go. The other ones, they're not going to receive it the same. So unfortunately, we're in a day of time, in an era where it's more about the coaches and being able to adjust and adapt, not making the players adjust and adapt to them.
That's real, man. That's dope. I can tell you passionate, bro, about that. You got a lot of experience. How long you been coaching, bro?
Well, I started when I was pretty young. I went to Prairie View A&M, and pretty much after I left there, I just started. But I was sort of raised by a coach. My dad.
Oh wow! So you're a coach's son.
Yeah. My dad's still a coach over in Kingswood, down there in Houston. So, so sort of grew up in it. My passion really came a little bit from him. Luckily, he never coached me, but that's not something he wanted to do. And I have a son now, and I have no desire to coach him either. So the passion's sort of always been there. And unfortunately, some of the stuff just sticks with me. Like, we just had the whole Michael Vick with Daniel Thomason conversation earlier. And for some reason, I just remember it. I'm actually good in history, too, so that probably works out. But, yeah, man, it's just a passion. And when you're just passionate about something, you just remember it. You just eat it every day. You just want to be a part of it. The grind, like, the whole process of football. When we was in Indianapolis, man, it was just fun.
Bro, that was an experience, yeah. Heck yeah, man. Yo, bro. So, did you ever play? Did you play football, or you just got straight into coaching?
No, I played. I played
You
growing.
played.
Yeah, but once I got to college, it wasn't as fun. Um, I think I like the preparation more. When you grow up with a group of guys you play high school with, that was really fun. Going to college, it was a business that I'd rather be on the other side. The playing side was cool, but I just didn't have the desire, I didn't have the want to go to the weight room as much or to, be in the film study. I wanted to switch. I wanted to be the guy that was teaching, not necessarily going through it. So I ended up trying to be like a student coach.
That's dope, bro. That's dope. And you just and you your mind of the game, bro. Like, did you just pick that up just being around your father, other coaches, or studying the game on your own, or was it accumulation of both?
I think it was a little bit of communication of both, but really when I started coaching, I really just started coaching Little League when I came back from college. And my uncle was coaching the team that I played in Little League. And even though I was working and trying to finish college and I was just trying to help out and coach, he just one year he was like, hey man, just run the defense. And I had a kid named Mike Badajo who's over in Germany now playing. He's playing professionally, man. Shout out to him.
What's his name?
Mike Badajo
Okay, okay,
over in Germany now. He was playing in the one of the arena leagues, and we had an opportunity to go see him play 2 years ago.
nice.
Having him, I just started having fun. I was having fun just drawing the plays. I figured this was like he was 5'10" as like a 12th grader, as a sixth grader. So, everybody was like, okay, this is the guy we gotta block. And I would literally like just design things where I would put him somewhere and put everybody else on the other side and they would still run to the other side. And I'm like, well, that's not, so it was just accumulated with just having fun, being around youngsters that enjoyed it and that enjoyed me. I enjoyed them. So that's really where the passion of coaching really just started coming in. And at the end of my playing years, I was really like, man, I think I would be really good at that side. And that's really just how I got into it.
That's dope, man. That's freaking dope. Let me ask you this, bro. I'm so curious about you, man. And we'll get to the Super Bowl predictions in a minute. But how far do you want to take this, dog? Like, do you just want to stay out where you at? Because I hear that some people are just fine with it. I hear that people they coach at some small school, D2 school in the middle of nowhere, and they are perfectly fine with that. They don't want to go anywhere else. They're like fulfilled with that. What about you, bro? Like, you trying to get to the pros, or you want to go to another division, a higher division, collegiate, or are you cool where you at?
No, I mean, you always want to go to the top.
Facts.
It's great to be in a profession. It's great to be in a small town or a big town, or you've seen guys go from NFL, college to high school.
Right.
And they're happy, but you want to shoot as high as you can shoot. So for me, if the NFL is an opportunity, it's one that I would like to take. I do have a friend of mine. We played ball together back in high school. He's a DB coach up in Cincinnati for the Bengals. So Charlie Burks, man, he's a good guy. Always been a good guy. I've known him for a very long time. Wish him the best. Wish the Bengals the best because he's there. So it's most definitely can be done. I've seen it done personally, and when you get that opportunity, you just relish it. You do everything you can every second of the day to prove that you can be there and to show that you just deserve it and that that's where you want to be. And focus on where you're at, not where you're trying to be, because then you'll lose your way. So it doesn't matter if it's college, if it's high school, or whatever your job is at that point. Focus on that. Be 110% on that, and then when the next opportunity comes, if that's where you decide to go, then you can go there. But if it doesn't, don't ever miss a day focusing on trying to be a head coach, and now you done failed to be a DB coach, because that's still another. You really just take steps back.
You said that's taking steps back.
Yeah. When you're too focused on the next step, then you're not giving everything you can to the step that you're already on. So, I think he has Chimedy Aduzue up there. He has Dax Hill, who I'm big on out of Michigan. If Charlie was focused on being a defensive coordinator, then that's 1 minute that he didn't try to make those guys better, right? Because it's a little bit selfish when you try to look at the next thing and not where you're at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, do you have a philosophy on how you coach, bro? Or you just
I mean, for me, it's just about the players. It's not, and that's like a real bad cliche. You'll hear every coach from Mike Tomlin and Jim Harbaugh, or uh, you hear Lincoln Riley at USC say that. You hear Ryan Day. You'll hear all the coaches say that. But that's just what it has to be about. The second the player knows that you care about them, the second that you can really get that player to do not only what you need them to do, but hopefully what they want. Let's just be their best selves.
Yeah, man, that's dope. Like, I'm glad that you said that because, like, when we was talking earlier, I was telling you, bro, like, somebody like Jim Harbaugh, he coaches players hard, extremely hard. I hear that he asks a lot out of players, but they are willing to do it. And it's because, like, he inspires them to do it, man. Like I was saying, like, I feel like coaching is like sales, bro. It's like marketing. You're marketing yourself and you are selling this idea, this philosophy, to these players and you want and depending on how you present this to them is how they will buy into it. You know what I'm saying? And only so many coaches does that. Like I mean, I would go far back. Like one of my favorite, probably my favorite coach of all time, Vince Lombardi. Like Vince Lombardi, I heard stories about Vince Lombardi. Like nowadays, like you said, Mike Tomlin, even Sean Payton. And Jim Harbaugh. Those guys, Bill Belichick. It's really about, man, like how can you help find this player's like reach his highest potential as a player, and then produce that on the field too, outside from practice and all that. So yeah, man. Anything else you wanted to touch on that? There was a couple more things I wanted to say, but I can't remember them, so I didn't want to keep dragging along. I was going to go on to the next segment. If you had anything else you want to say. Solid. Okay, bet, bro. So let me. What's your Super Bowl predictions, man?
Man, AFC wise, I got them written down, so that's why I'm looking down. But the AFC wise, I mean, we can talk about the Chiefs, man. Three-peat is hard. We talked about that earlier. Andy Reid made a really tough training camp from what I heard, and that's because it's hard to do it 3 times in a row. So we can't do it like we did the last 2 years. Like Patrick Mahomes is fantastic. Travis Kelsey is getting up there in age, but at the end of the day, he's still gonna find a way to get open. I mean, him and Patrick have like the best bond we've probably seen since Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Like it's pretty special. Tony Gonzalez, Trent Green type stuff. Just staying on the Chiefs thing. So I'm gonna go with them. I do have probably like one team that I'm just gonna throw out there, and that's just the Browns. And I say that, man, I'm a humongous Myles Garrett fan. He's from the area. He's from Arlington. Went to high school here in Martin. And Deshaun Watson plays like Deshaun Watson in Houston.
Oh
That
yeah.
team is lethal. So
You think he will? You think he will? Think Deshaun Watson will?
I think he can. Uh,
Yeah.
but I was a big Deshaun Watson fan going all the way back to
Oh
his high
yeah.
school days as well in Georgia. So he broke like every Georgia quarterback, high school quarterback record in the state, and then Trevor Lawrence came and then he did it. But Deshaun is special, man, and hopefully he got through what he was going through, and if he can get back to himself, I mean, the sky's the limit. The offensive line is there. I'm big on O line. They're there, Wyatt Taylor, Jared. So they have the tight ends in the Njoku. They got Judy. They got Amari Cooper. I expect Judy to be better than what he was in Denver. Their defense is elite. They was breaking records last year, defensive wise, and those guys are back. So I think they can. I think the coach is great. I think Andrew Berry in the front office is fantastic. They got everything they need, man. They just got to go out there and play. So if there's one team that can sneak in there and you're just like, well, they're here, it's gonna be that team.
You talking about the Browns?
Yep.
All right. So that's two AFC teams. So you think the Browns or the Chiefs gonna go for the AFC?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. It's more
Okay.
they're done that, you know, and they're not gonna beat themselves. That's the
I never seen the Chiefs beat themselves.
so if it comes down, I mean, we'll see how Joe Burrow plays. Without Jamar Chase, it's gonna be hard. But the only person that's really beat Pat Mahomes is Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. One of those guys is retired. So I just don't think the Bengals are going to run the table. I think the Ravens are the best team in that division, but I don't believe the Ravens can beat the Chiefs. You should have ran the ball last year a little bit more, in my opinion. Um, you
That's
know,
why you got Henry now, King Henry.
yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. So, like you remember the Chiefs game and the Baltimore Ravens game last year. Lamar was really trying to throw it a lot, and that really reminded me of the Seattle Seahawks, versus the Patriots back in the day when probably should have handed off to Marshawn Lynch and said, you sort of threw it. Not saying they wanted Russell Wilson to win the game. Pete Carroll just spoke to Richard Sherman, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about that play, and the play based on there was a goal line is why they should have threw it. I get it, but when you got a beast like that behind you, man, you just got to hand it off. And you just got to play big boy football. With Derrick Henry, just hand it off and play big boy football, go to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson is great. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but he doesn't have to throw it to win the game. Now you got 22, just hand it off.
just hand it off to Henry. If he still got it, I mean, he's getting a little up there. It's interesting that you brought that up, though. Now, I mean, you kind of created this little different subject, but I know a lot of people say that, it was like you should have handed off to Marshawn Lynch. But like I don't know if you remember the two previous plays before that interception that Russell Wilson threw to Malcolm Butler. They tried handing it off to Marshawn Lynch 22 times in a row. He got stuffed. So, I mean, I don't know. You would have gave it a third chance, a third try, even though he got stuffed twice.
There's different ways. What's the old saying? Different ways to skin a cat. So yeah. I still probably would have handed it off. I get where they were in goal line, you were in shotgun. I don't think they meant to be in goal line, so I get where the pass comes from. The pass in general, the play in general, probably was more in question. Malcolm Butler has been on record saying he watched film, he knew it was coming. So
it was a hell of a defensive play, man.
Huh?
It was a hell of a defensive play.
Oh, it was for an undrafted free agent to make a play like that. That just goes to show you. I think he's out of Northern Alabama, if I remember right. But that just shows. It just goes to show you. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, the opportunity comes. You just got to make it work. So, but Russell Wilson being the athlete that he is, he's a decent athlete. You could have ran quarterback power. There's just a couple of things you could have did. The old Tim Tebow, act like you don't run, step back, throw it over the defense. But Marshawn Lynch is either the lead back or he's the back. It just goes back to what we was talking about earlier. Build an offense around your best players. And Marshawn Lynch was the best offensive player on that team by far.
Yeah, by far, 100%. There's no argument about that. And then, first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, definitely. I believe Russell Wilson's a first ballot Hall of Famer too. I don't like how the media is trying to kind of pretty much low-key trying to tarnish his career, but he's done enough in my book for him to be first ballot. He's done enough for the consistent amount of time. He's done it for like nearly 10 years in Seattle, and again, I don't think he had as bad he played as bad those 2 seasons with Denver as the media and everybody tries to make it seem. Look what he was working with, given that, and then it's going from Seattle to a whole different team and worse team, so I'm really excited to see what Russell Wilson's going to do with Pittsburgh. And before I go into that, I remember what I was going to ask you to end the segment on the Tua. How do you think Tua is going to play this year? What do you think he's going to do?
I think he's going to have a good year. The scariest thing is when you pay somebody, normally they get hurt or they go downhill. They don't play as great as they used to.
Right.
I think he has a good coach, and Mike McDaniel has a very unique coaching journey, sort of how he got where he was at. Yeah. Denny Green was a part of that, and Denny Green was a fantastic coach. May you rest in peace. But Danny Green was the head coach of the Vikings. Back when they drafted Randy Moss, you had Chris Carter, Dante Culpepper, Randy Cunningham. Before that, John Randall. I mean, they had a great team in Minnesota. If it wasn't for Atlanta, Minnesota would have been the Super Bowl. So uh, he was with Danny Green sort of at the end of his coaching career when he wasn't even in the NFL. He was in another league. So he talks about that. He talks about being around him. So Mike McDonald is a good coach for Tua. He's really a great coach for Tua. So I don't think Tua's going to take a step back per se.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to take a step back, man. He hasn't lost anything. So I mean, not on the offensive side. They did lose out. I don't know their defense now. I don't know their defense. I think their defense is going to be a little suspect because they did lose that defensive tackle. I mean, we talked about how important defensive tackle is, a line is for a defense. Forget that guy's name, but he went to the Raiders. What's that guy's
name? Wilkins.
What's his name?
Christian Wilkins.
Yes. That's crazy they let him go. I cannot believe they let him go. Like, to me, them letting him walk it's almost like the Chiefs letting Chris Jones walk almost. He's not as great as Chris Jones, but that dude's dominant, bro. He's dominant on the line. Bro, I mean, I don't know why they did. I don't know how they let him walk.
I think they let him walk because you're paying so many people. Tua just got paid. Tyreek Hill is a top 5 receiver, paid. Jalen Waddle was already paying so many people. Jalen Phillips, I'm big on the outside linebacker.
Oh, bro, that dude.
California native, so I'm really, really big on him. But so they're going to pay him soon. I think Chubb is getting a little bit of money. Remember, Jalen Ramsey is on that back end, so he's getting paid. So Wilkins just fell into that. We love you, but we really can't pay you. So him going to Oakland is great. Him matched up with Max Crosby should really help out that defense.
That's gonna be dangerous. Like, for real. Oh man, we don't have to do another video, bro, because we got so much we can talk about, man. I know you said about 30 minutes, so I don't want to hold you too much, bro. But so, let me go ahead and give you my Super Bowl predictions, man. Oh wait, hold on, you didn't give me an NFC. You gotta give me an NFC. Who the Chiefs playing against?
Okay, yeah, the NFC. I'm big on Detroit.
Okay.
I'm big on Detroit. I would rather see Detroit get in there. I think they could have beat San Francisco, to be honest. So yeah, it's going to be Detroit. It's going to be San Francisco. My sleeper is actually Minnesota.
Ooh, Minnesota?
Minnesota is my sleeper, man. I get it. They have to go through Detroit. They have to go through, Green Bay is going to be better. Caleb should light it up over in Chicago. The Vikings is that team nobody's talking about. Sam Darnold is not the worst quarterback on the planet.
He's not. There you go. Say it again, bro. Fight on. Yeah. I'm tired of everybody talking about my boy Sam Darnold, dog.
Yeah. He's not the worst quarterback on the planet. He has the best receiver on the planet.
Bro, facts. Hands down.
Aaron Jones is over there, man. I think they have a great offensive line. Brian O'Neill at right tackle. Christian Darrisaw at the left tackle. They had T.J. Hawkinson there, Jordan Addison, balled out.
Ooh, fight on. There we go. Another one. Another U.S. My fault, bro. I get crazy when I talk about you to help my USC players. Keep going.
Yeah. So, the USC players are big. So, and I think Brian Flores is going to have that defense playing. DJ Turner should ball out, I think. He's a really good replacement for Danielle Hunter. So, I like the Vikings and their setup. And because nobody's talking about, I think they can sneak up on a couple of people.
Bro, they can. They really can, dog.
They were just 13-3, 13-4 2 years ago, and they lost first round to the Giants. Like, they're, outside of Kirk Cousins, everybody else is still there.
Facts, bro. And to be honest with you, I dislike the Cowboys. I always felt like, well, not just like the Cowboys, because the Cowboys, I feel like it's the owner and the quarterback, but I always felt like it was Kirk Cousins was the issue. I mean, I seen him throwing games away, So, and it's not their coach, because they have a good coach. The Vikings got a real good coach. I like their coach. You know what I'm saying? So they got to do Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold can really prove a lot of people wrong, like you just said, bro. That's a good one. I'm gonna be that's something to look out for. So I'm gonna give you my Super Bowl predictions, and we can end it on that note. I gotta let you go. I'm gonna say, and I want to see how you feel about this. But I'm talking the Chargers and the Bears. And I'm not being biased, bro. I'm not being biased, because USC Killer wins and Chargers my squad. That's just that's my take, man. That's my bold take. That's my hot take right there. I don't think a rookie quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl. I know a rookie quarterback's been to one, right? Dan Marino, right? Was it Dan Marino? Didn't he go his rookie year, or was that his?
No, Dan Marino never went to a Super Bowl. When the Dolphins won the Super Bowl, that was their undefeated season. That was in the 70s. So that was before Marino got drafted. Marino got drafted in 83 in the John Elway, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly. John Elway went first. Jim Kelly went like 12th or something. Dan Marino went 25th, 24th, 25th. It's funny because Pittsburgh passed on Dan Marino. Dan Marino was a Pittsburgh Panther. So they passed on him. And that was like right after Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw had retired. So that's why they went so long. They had Terry Bradshaw, and they went like 30 years till Ben Roethlisberger. But they could have drafted Dan Marino, and I think they would have won way more championships.
Oh my God, bro! Could you imagine Dan Marino with the Steelers, bro, at that time, bro? If he would have went to the Steelers at that time, he more than likely. I love Tom Brady, but people would probably be saying he's the greatest of all time, because I always feel like Dan Marino is the greatest quarterback of all time that's never won a ring.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. He is without a doubt, pretty much my favorite quarterback. Like if you watch Dan Marino just throw the ball, he's up there with Patrick Mahomes, one of the most beautiful ball throwers we've ever seen. Aaron Rodgers is a great ball thrower too, but Dan Marino was special.
He was so talented, dog. Dang, I wish I could have watched him play I wish I could have lived in that era. But yeah, that's my take, man. Chargers and Bears. How you feel about that?
It's a little bit of a homer, but I'm big on Jim Harbaugh, man. Jim Harbaugh wins everywhere he goes, from San Diego State to Stanford to 49ers to Michigan to the Chargers. I do think he's gonna win. I just think the Chiefs are gonna run that division. I think the Chargers are going to make it competitive. Justin Herbert always makes it competitive whenever he goes against Pat Mahomes. I think they beat him last year or 2 years ago on that Mike Williams touchdown. So the Chargers are going to be competitive. They might win a playoff game. I don't see them making it to the ship.
Oh, man, that's messed up.
I like the Bears, though. I do like the Bears. I think Caleb is going to make a lot of plays, but I think this year is going to be a year of growth. I think he's going to make a lot of plays, but he's going to make a lot of bad plays too. So that might be a little bit of their Achilles heel. They're good on the O-line, but they're still young on the offensive line. I think their defense is going to be ferocious. I think that defense is going to be really, really good. Like they have a dude on every level. And when I say dude, like that's that guy, like, hey, when he steps on the field, he different. Montez Sweat up front. Tremaine Edwards, the middle linebacker. Johnson, I think it's Jermaine Johnson, the corner from Utah. Like, they got a guy on every level that you're like, we better not go that way because he's going to make a difference. So, I think they're going to be pretty good up front.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's going to be exciting, man. We 1 day away now, bro. We actually less than a day away.
Yep.
I mean, less than 24 hours away until kickoff, man. We here. This is it. So, real quick before I close out, it's going to be a bonus. This is going to be a bonus for everybody. So, who you got winning tomorrow?
Man, I got the Chiefs winning tomorrow. They're at home. Yes, Detroit beat them last year at home. Detroit was a special team. I think Baltimore's going to be a special team, but you're breaking in a new defensive coordinator. Andy Reid's going to figure him out before he figures Andy Reid out. Mike Macdonald is a really good defense coordinator. Of course, he's in Seattle now. But I like their new defense coordinator. I'm rooting for him. He's a brother. He's from Texas, so I'm rooting for him for sure. But you're taking over a really, really talented defense, and your first game is against the Super Bowl champs. If that ain't pressure, I don't know what it is. But I think they're going to step up. Big Kyle Hamilton fan. Justin in body. I can't say his last name. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
I know you're talking about though.
He's from Texas A&M though, so Texas guy. But of course, Roland Smith is a fantastic linebacker. Marlon Humphrey we talked about earlier. So I think they're going to be great, but some tells me Pat Mahomes is going to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. I my heart says you're right, but my mind, man, or my mind says you're right, but my heart, I just want to go to the Bears. I mean, Bears, the Ravens. I think the Ravens is going to get it. I feel like this is a game that Lamar Jackson has to win. And even though we're early in the season, and then I hear the media saying that he doesn't have to win this game because we're so early in the season, but how he lost the last game that he played, bro, his last play was terrible, especially for somebody of his caliber. You know, you had the game, bro. And I won't go too deep into it, but you had the game won. And you made, I'm not even knocking Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers was a rookie. He made a rookie mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You're Lamar Jackson, two-time NFL MVP vet, one of the most talented players of all time. You cannot make that dumb throw. That was all on Lamar. He has to make a statement. I feel like he has to make a statement, and for him to bounce back from that, bro, I feel like he needs to. They got to win. Like how he went into San Francisco last year and he did that. He played so phenomenal. He's got to do it, bro. Like I'm putting all the pressure on Lamar. I'm putting all the pressure on Lamar for real. And I'm gonna choose the Ravens, man. I'm gonna choose the Ravens. I'm gonna say 24. At first I was thinking 30, but I'll keep it a little low. 24 20. 24 20.
Okay. I would take the Chiefs with the same score.
Okay. Okay.
Like when you watch the game, look at Steve Spagnuolo, who's the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. He does a lot of exotic coverages.
Yeah.
It's not even like everybody talks about exotic blitzes and this and that. His coverages are like really weird.
Yeah.
So he's very very creative when it comes to that back end. Justin Reed and Trey McBride, not Trey McBride. I can't think of the corner name out of Washington, but he's a phenomenal player, number 22. They're going to
be talking about, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? They're going to do some different things on that back end. I'm big on Zay Flowers. You're right. It was a rookie mistake. Some people forget Plaxico Burress, who was the first-round draft pick for Pittsburgh back in the day, 6'5" receiver at Michigan State. He sort of did the same thing in a game where he got tackled and he got up, or wait, he didn't get tackled. And he spiked the ball down because in college, like when you're tackled, like when you fall down in college, you're down. So what he did was he fell down, nobody touched him, so he got up and spiked the ball because he was mad, and it was a live ball. So it goes back to like you're a rookie, but like it's just Zay Flowers did it in a championship game. Plaxico Burress, it was like just some regular season game, but yeah, it's you chop it up to just being a rookie.
Bro, facts. Yeah, that's gonna be exciting. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, man. And yeah, man, we'll leave it on that note. So I got 24-20 Ravens. You got 24-20 Chiefs. Let's see what's up with that. Oh, but they did lose Snead. So you think number 22 is gonna be able to replace Snead?
I do.
Okay.
Snead was very outside corner.
Yeah.
And 22, which I can't remember his name right now, but he was really good in the slot. So I think they'll figure it out.
Okay. We're gonna find out. Hey, we could do a recap on that game. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of topics that we could touch upon whenever you're free, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this can be a consistent thing, or whenever you're free, bro. I hope this is not the first time. I'm saying the first and last time. That's what I'm saying. Bro, I really appreciate you, man, for coming on. Man, God bless you, bro. You and your family. I wish you much, much more blessings on your career, bro. I hope you make it to the top, bro. For real. Like I said, your football knowledge is phenomenal. I respect that. I respect you, bro. You got anything else you want to say, dog?
No, man. I just appreciate you having me on, man. I really want to do this weekly.
Okay.
Of course, man. Me and you bonded from the first time we met. Up in the Indy, man, and we just you most definitely made that trip a lot more fun, and just being able to talk football with a lot of great people up there was fantastic. So I would love to just do this every week and man, just be a part of the All Day family.
Hey, bro, that's real. Well, most definitely, dog. I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to put that pressure on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. Heck yeah, we can. We definitely want to do it, bro. Definitely will, man. You know what I'm saying? All right. Thank you all so much for. I'm gonna end it on that. Thank you all so much for watching. You know what I'm saying? Please, if you enjoyed the video, which I know you did, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll be back soon all day.